Hello everyone. In today's video, we are going to talk about Agile Manifesto Values. So first, we will learn about what is Agile Manifesto. Agile Manifesto is a declaration that was designed in 2001 by 17 Agile thought leaders. It describes the key values and principles behind the Agile philosophy. So there are these four values and 12 agile principles which helps the agile teams to work more effectively and efficiently that are defined in the Agile Manifesto. So in today's video we will see the Agile Manifesto values. To start with the first value, individuals and interactions over processes and tools. As per this value, the individuals and interactions should be given precedence over the processes and tools, because valuing people over process is important, as it is people who respond to the business needs and drive the development process. If the process or the tools drive the development, then team would be less responsive to change basically, and they are less likely to meet the customer requirement. So to give you an example here, what happened during corona time. During the corona time, almost everyone was working from home. But what was the actual process? The actual process was to work from office. But at that point of time, the process was changed. The systems were set up, infrastructure was changed according to the people's need. So that time the people were given precedence over the process, because that was the need of the hour. If people were not given precedence at that point of time, then there was a chance of losing people. So in software development process also, some situations will occur in which you need to give importance to your team rather than to the processes. Uh, Moving on to the second part, like importance should be given to the interactions over the tools. Um, to give you an example, let's say you have a certain requirements documented, and based on your previous experience you feel that there is something missing in the requirement, but as the tool mentions like this is the requirement, you think of it like you should go ahead with this requirement only and start building the product, and you are not clarifying your doubts from the business user or the product owners. So you're basically not interacting or communicating with anyone for clarifying your doubts, and you're just following the tool. So this is not correct. By doing that, you're putting your product into risk. It is always better to clarify your doubts. It is always better to interact with the people and get the clarifications and not to work on assumptions. So this was one of the examples of individuals and interactions over processes and tools. Moving on to the next value, working product over comprehensive documentation. In traditional software development process, usually a huge amount of time was spent on documenting the requirements. Like multiple documents used to be created. There used to be technical design documents, then functional design documents, then test plans, and UX design documents, scorecards, etc. There used to be multiple documents that used to be created before actual development process starts. But in Agile, documents are needed, but more importance is given to a working product. Now let's assume uh, let's assume that you have a documentation but you do not have a working product, and contrary to that, you have a working product but you do not have a documentation. So it is always better to have a working product and not to have a documentation. In case if you do not have a document can be created, but first need is to have a working product, because that only will give the customers an idea whether the software development is going in the correct direction or not, and based upon that only they can provide their feedbacks, and the team can create more value added product. So in agile process, working products are given more importance or more precedence over the comprehensive documentation. Comprehensive documentations are also important because they help streamline the process, but first priority should be given to the working product. Moving on to the next value, customer collaboration over contract negotiation. Usually in any process, the customer interacts with the dev team to negotiate on requirements and timelines before the work starts. And once the job is done, again they will interact for the feedback and inputs. But in Agile, the customer collaborates with the dev team throughout the development process. The Agile method generally includes periodic demos also for the customers, and wherein the end users meets the development team and provides them the feedback. So in Agile, the customer involvement is not limited only till the contract negotiation, but they are collaborating with the development team on a daily basis, on regular basis. So that is what this particular value talks about. And it is very important. The customer collaboration is very important because if you are getting the constant feedback from the business users, then it is generally adding value to the product because they have vision of the product. And if you have developed something, if your development team has developed something, and even though you have developed it with all the requirements that has been mentioned in the requirement detail document, there is a chance that the customer is having some different vision, and when he see the actual working product, he will come to know whether it is meeting his requirement, it is meeting his vision. And if it is not, then he can provide he can suggest certain changes to the development team, and they can do those changes then and there. So that is what the customer collaboration over contract negotiation is about. Moving on to the next value, responding to change over following a plan. Now, in the traditional waterfall model, the changes were considered as expensive in because it used to involve a lot of rework, and feedback was also given after the project was completed. So so changes were generally would be generally done at the end of the release, I would say. But here in the Agile, priorities are shifted iteration to iterations. That is, periodically new features and changes can be included in the next possible iterations. And in Agile, changes are not expensive. In fact, they add values. So we should not stick to following whatever has been planned since beginning. If any changes are required as per any changing market conditions, if the business users are suggesting some changes in the product, then it can be implemented in the Agile development methodology. So it suggests like we should respond to the change and we should go ahead and implement those changes. So that is what the last value is about. So that's all the Agile Manifesto Values talks about. And let me know if you want me to make videos on any other Agile topic. And that's it for today. Thank you for watching.